Hey everybody, Taylor with KC HiLiTES here, and today we are going to dive deep into this 1969 Jeep Wagoneer. This vehicle is a passion project that's owned by the owner of our company, Alan Wang. This vehicle has been completely restored from the ground up to look exactly how it looks today. Like I mentioned, this is a total passion project for Alan, so it's really cool that it's something that we can use to show off all of our lights, of course, as well as a lot of the other cool companies in the industry that we get to work with, but more importantly, actually use this thing off-road and be able to really adventure further with this vehicle. So today we're gonna do a little bit of a basic intro right now about this vehicle, but then we're gonna go take it up on the trail here in California, and then I'm gonna show you a little bit more in detail of everything that's gone on under this. This is a super reliable platform because basically everything on it is brand new, but it has that classic appeal, especially because this is our 50th anniversary as a company. We kind of thought it would be fitting for Alan to build something that, number one, he loved, but also number two is a little bit of a throwback to that era. So that is the 1969 Jeep Wagoneer that Alan owns. Let's go take it on the trails and let's go dive into the details a little bit more as we get up there. We're in the middle of the trail right now, so I just wanted to take a quick second while it's in the middle of the trail to go over the suspension on this thing. For the shock absorbers, we're running Icon vehicle dynamic shocks all the way around, and then it's a leaf spring suspension front and rear with the Alcan leafs on it. So they're awesome for rock crawling, but this thing is very multifunctional, so it's not necessarily classified as just a rock crawling vehicle. So between the Icon, between the Curry axles, everything underneath, this thing is super solid and it has a lot of flex for what you would expect out of a leaf sprung suspension on it. And then while we're at it, let's take a look at the tire and wheel combo. We're running the classic Walker Evans beadlock wheels on it because for a vehicle like this, you have to go classic. So that's why we chose the Walker Evans on it. And then of course the original BF Goodrich KM3 mud terrains in a 37-inch. So that's the tire and wheel setup and the suspension setup that we are running on this vehicle. So we're gonna hop back into the vehicle. I'm gonna keep driving it up the trail a little bit, and then we'll dive into some of the other stuff along the way. All right, so it's about 8:15 at night and I've finally made it to where I set up camp for the evening. So talking about some of the camping gear, up top, we have our Roam Adventure Co. rooftop tent. So this is a full tent that can sleep 2 to 3 people very comfortably. It's got a nice plush mattress inside of it. So our tent and everything is held right on top of the vehicle, so it always stays with us wherever the adventure takes us. Now, that rooftop tent is mounted on top of one of our custom-made roof racks. So this is a KC M rack, but it's custom-made for this vehicle. And on that roof rack, we also have the optional 4 side lights. So these side lights that you can see on the side do a really nice job of lighting up the whole scene. All right, so now we're underneath the hood of the Wagoneer and we're gonna take a look at what exactly is going on under here because there's a lot to look at. So just starting with the basics, this is an LY6, a 6-liter V8 motor. It's got an LS3 cam on it. All of that was done by our friend Nick at NV Fab. That is mated to a maximum off-road transmission. So it's a super solid, super reliable setup that can handle a lot of power and a lot of torque out of it. In addition, it's got some hooker manifolds on it, so it's got the full setup underneath here. While we're looking underneath here, what we are running for our electrical system is a Holley ECU EFI system in here. And for the electrical system for all of our lights and all of our other electrical auxiliary things that we have running, we're using an XTC power product system in here. So it's a super clean way to mount all of our fuses, all of the relays, everything that we need right here in one very convenient location that's easy to work on if we ever blow a fuse. And that's also gonna keep it nice and clean underneath the hood of this vehicle. Of course, we are running dual Optima yellow top batteries. So it's a really reliable setup. Of course, we've got a lot of lights on this thing, right? We've got a fridge, a Snowmaster fridge in the back. So there's a lot of power draw that we have for this thing, even though a lot of our lights are very power efficient. We've still got a lot on, so that's why we're running a dual battery setup on the Wagoneer. It's also got a Novak radiator and an Aeromotive fuel pump. And in addition, we also have a Power Steering Solutions upgraded and rebuilt steering box, as well as a RAM assist on this thing. So this thing is just super functional, super well built for us. It does everything that Alan needs it to do. It's got a lot of power. It sounds really great with that MagnaFlow exhaust. And that is basically it for under the hood of our Wagoneer. All right, so over on the interior of this thing, it's completely redone. It's got very nice PRP seats with PRP 4-point harnesses on this, so it's gonna keep everybody super secured in their seats where they're supposed to be. Alan uses this as a family vehicle too, so he loads his kids up in the rear seats in the back, and has got his wife with him as well, so it's a very nice functional design for the family. It's got custom upholstery all throughout on the door panels. It's got the carpet redone inside of it, everything nice and neatly. Now for communications, this thing is pretty loud in here. So it's got a full rugged radios telecom system. So it's an in-vehicle communication system. Now, in addition to being in vehicle, it's also got a really cool push to talk feature. So we can also use the rugged radios to communicate with other people in other vehicles that are on the same frequency. Super nice setup. Now, in addition to that, we also have a full Rockford Fosgate sound system in here. It's got Bluetooth, it's got the whole capability, and we can actually even pipe in that sound system through the rugged radio headsets that each passenger inside of this vehicle has. Super cool way to keep that music and keep that ability to communicate with those inside and outside of the vehicle. Now, all of the gauges and all the speedometer and all that has been replaced by the Holley EFI system. So really cool, really clean. Everything in here looks really awesome. It's got all of the factory dials, all of the factory switches in here. So it looks really cool. It definitely keeps that 1969 feel when you're inside of this thing driving it. NVFab and Hardwired Performance did a great job of wiring up all of our switches for all of our lights, all of that kind of stuff. So we'll see that right down here next to the Rockford Fosgate system, the head unit system down here. And pretty much the only other thing inside of the interior of this vehicle is our Snowmaster fridge. So we've got an off-road fridge here to keep your Gatorades, all your beverages cold, your snacks and your lunches, things like that. So super cool system to be able to have a fridge inside of the vehicle to keep everything cold. So that's about it for the interior of the Wagoneer. Out here in the back, we have a custom-built rear bumper tire carrier that's also a swing out, so we can get at all of the stuff that's going to be stored in here on any given camping trip. So it's a really simple functional design. Just pull the pin out, undo the latch, and then you can push the gate all the way open until it latches itself right into place. Super easy. There's a little table that's built into the rear swing out here. You can use this for cooking. We can use this for storage, anything like that. So that's the rear bumper tire swing out. One other really cool thing about this is that there's a custom fuel cell under here created by Fuel Safe. This thing is a gas guzzler, as you might imagine. So that is definitely something that's absolutely needed on this thing. A little bit of extra fuel capacity for those long off-road trips. Just to cover a few more things on this vehicle before we dive into some of the lighting on it. Up front, we have a custom built front bumper by NVFab. So this is holding our super classic Warn winch. It's got the synthetic line though, so it's a little bit more modern spec along with the Factor 55 front hook on it. So this is a very solid and very sturdy setup, perfect for what we need on this. As we move down a little bit, we are running both front and rear Currie F9 axles. These Currie axles are essentially bulletproof, can handle all of the power from that motor that's inside of this thing, and it's going to be able to hold up of all of the stresses of the off-road rock crawling that we put this thing through, that Alan beats this thing up with. So those Currie axles are definitely a really cool feature of this vehicle. Now we also have some custom Tom Woods drive shafts on this thing just to round out the whole drivetrain underneath the vehicle. This thing is an absolute monster when it comes to rock crawling, so we definitely had to show you off some of the goodies that are underneath here. All right, so we're gonna end the video by talking all about the lights that are on the Wagoneer. Of course, that's what we do best, so that's what we know best. So let's go ahead and cover all the lights that are on this thing and starting from the ground up. Underneath here, we have our green Cyclone LED lights. This is a super nice light that provides a big wide flood area of diffuse light, perfect for rock crawling, perfect for scene lights while you're out camping, things like that. Then as we move our way up on the vehicle, in the front bumper here, we have our Gravity LED G4 fog lights. So that is a true SAE street legal fog light inside of that. It's a very wide beam and it's got a nice cutoff line on it, so it's perfect for use on the highway and off-road as well. Now, as we move up, for the headlights on this, we have a DOT street legal headlight on this that is made by us. That's our 7-inch round Gravity LED projector headlight. So these headlights are great for these classic cars, whether it's a Wagoneer, whether it's a classic vehicle that uses other 7-inch round headlights. These lights are perfect for that. So that's exactly why we put them in this Wagoneer. Now, right below those, we have 10-inch LED light bars. That's our Flex LED light bar lineup. It's custom mounted in by NV Fab. It's really sleek. Those are off-road only use lights, so it's going to provide a lot of short to mid-range coverage. Now, moving underneath the hood, you can see that we have our Cyclone LEDs, same lights that are underneath the vehicle, but now they're in the white format for underhood lighting for if you need to work on the Jeep late at night, or if you get stuck on the side of the road on the highway, anything like that. That's why we have those nice under the hood lighting. Now, as we move up, I already talked a little bit about it, but we have our Slim Light LEDs on the A-pillars. Again, an off-road only light in a spot beam, but it's almost more of a combo beam. It provides a really nice wide area of coverage for the light, but it's also got a nice narrow hot spot, so it's going to throw light out really far downrange. Speaking of downrange lighting, we also have our Pro 6 LED light bar up top. It's the 8 light version. So it's 6-inch round LED lights. That's where the Pro 6 name comes from. And that is the ultimate in long distance lighting that we have on this vehicle. We don't have those turned on right now because it's just gonna blow the camera out if we had those lights on. So that pretty much covers the lights that we have on the side, on the front of this thing. On the sides, you can see that we have our 4 C-Series 10-inch light bars. These are a wide scene / flood area light on it. So it's perfect for setting up camp at night, things like that. In the back of the Wagoneer, we've got a few different lights that are definitely worth showing off. Up top, we have our 28-inch rear-facing LED light bar. Now, this light bar has a ton of functionality that's built right into it. So right off the top, it's got built-in brake and tail light functions. So it's got 2 different modes for the red. In addition to that, you can also wire it up to be a part of your factory turn signals on your off-road vehicle. These are SAE street legal, so you can run them on the road. They are a little bit bright, but they are perfect for a lot of different functions. Another really cool function is that it has amber and white lights built into it as well. So the ambers, you can run either as a constant on or a strobing light. You would want to use a strobing amber in an instance where maybe you're kicking up a lot of dust and you have people that are following behind you. That's going to increase the visibility. It's a huge safety aspect. So the people that are behind you are then going to be able to see you with that flashing amber. Now, in addition, we also have the white lights that are in the center. Those are great for a reverse light or for lighting up an area behind you as you're setting up your rooftop tent or you're cooking dinner at night, anything like that. So that's our 28-inch rear-facing light bar. And then underneath down here in the bumper, we have our C2 lights. This is another version of a very wide scene or flood area light. We use these for a reverse light. As you can see, it lights up a really nice area so that we can actually see where we're backing up, whether it's when we're off-roading or in any other instance. So that's about all the lights that we have in the back here. So with all of that said, that's about all of the exterior lighting that we have on this thing. And as we move into the interior, we already showed off that interior a little bit before, but we also have our Cyclone LEDs in there as well for dome lighting or interior lighting. And with that, that's everything on this Jeep Wagoneer. We hope you enjoyed the deep dive into this thing, learning about it. I know that I love it. I know that Alan, the owner of this thing, absolutely loves this thing. Once again, it's a total passion project. So thank you all for tuning in. If you want to see some more awesome off-road content, please check out our channel at KC HiLiTES. And that is all. Thank you again for tuning in.